Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. We're live in Abuja. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Thank you for joining us. We start with security this Thursday. In furtherance of his strategic engagement with stakeholders towards addressing critical national issues, President Muhammadu Buhari today engaged governors from the north, central and northwestern parts of the country. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that challenges of security dominated discussions.
At the crucial meeting were the Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello Muhammad Mutawalli of Zamfara State, Nasir Ahmed El Rufai of Kaduna State, and Abubakar Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State. Also in attendance were the Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto, and Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa. All of them share one thing in common. Their states are bedeviled by enormous challenges of security, especially banditry and kidnapping, which have been undermining their efforts at meeting genuine public aspirations. At this meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, held behind closed doors, the governors took turns to narrate their experiences, individual efforts at finding lasting solutions, as well as expectations from the federal government. The chairman, Northern Governors Forum, and Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, who spoke to newsmen on their behalf, described the meeting as fruitful and reassuring.
You recall that many of the states have common features of insecurity that we have within our states, and we felt that we must also meet Mr. President about it. It's about the insecurity.
What are the takeaways?
The takeaway will say that the meeting with the President was very fruitful, and we are also very committed, and we have seen a lot of commitments, so we're waiting for the implementation. And Mr. President has given us that assurance.
The governor's engagement with President Muhammadu Buhari lasted 1.5 hours. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Defense, Bashir Salihi Magashi, says the task of ensuring security is not for the security and law enforcement agencies alone, but must be seen as a collective effort that requires credible intelligence that can best be provided by local communities. The minister said this while featuring on this week's edition of the State House briefing, where he highlighted some of the ongoing military operations across the country. On the recent killing of soldiers in Benue State, the defense minister explained that 9 of the 12 weapons belonging to the murdered soldiers have been recovered and arrests are being made. Nigeria, he said, remains mindful of her borders and developments in Chad. More details of the briefing will come in our subsequent bulletins. And still on security matters, the Nigerian army and the police have agreed to work closer to fight the current spate of insecurity across the country. The pledge was made by the Acting Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, when he led a delegation to the Army headquarters in Abuja. Introduction of enhanced strategies and synergy among security agencies, the Acting Inspector General said, will stem the wave of criminality.
The security environment is very, very dicey. We came in at a time that we have to do something extra, change the narratives, do something extra that is different from what our colleagues have been doing to get it done.
I want to assure you that the Nigerian Army, under my leadership, will continue to synergize and support the Nigerian police to build appropriate capacities so that we can collectively secure Nigeria in line with our constitutional rules.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, also promised to upscale the training of police personnel in superior firepower. And we're not done with security matters. As part of efforts to tackle the nation's security challenges, proper security of Nigeria's borders and strict enforcement of the full monopolistic powers of the state to possess all forms of firearms must be invoked. This was the position of the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Police Force, Frank Mba, and some security experts on NTA's Current Affairs program. Good morning, Nigeria. Over now to Thomas Obetere.
Good morning, Nigeria. NTA's Current Affairs program say most of the security challenges like kidnapping, banditry, terrorism, and the rest bedeviling the country are thriving as a result of the influx and proliferation of firearms in Nigeria. Looking at the dynamics of the challenges of insecurity across the nation, there is urgent and deliberate need to strengthen the capacity of the nation's security institutions.
We've identified the hotspots for arms trafficking in Nigeria, and the hotspots are majorly the border areas. And today, these border areas are receiving a lot of attention from our men.
Now, what is the integrity of the armory of our security agencies? And unfortunately, recently, that integrity has been shown to be faulty.
I think the problem really, or the issue really is, what have we been able to do to secure that such that the arms don't flow in from there? So
some of the guests who agreed that illegal manufacturing and trafficking of arms has taken both local, regional, and global dimension noted that there may be need to also review some of the ECOWAS protocols to avoid proliferation of arms in Nigeria, thereby threatening the nation's internal security. They added that proper synergy between all security agencies in Nigeria will go a long way in solving most of the challenges. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
And residents of Benue State have been advised to always remain law-abiding as the police is determined to rid the state of criminal elements. The state's new Commissioner of Police, Audu Madaki, in his first security meeting said every group in the state has a duty to cooperate with the police in making it crime-free. The report.
Security meeting held by the new Commissioner of Police, Audu Madaki. The meeting deliberated on issues bordering the state, ranging from cultism, armed robbery, kidnapping, and other criminal activities, which have continued to threaten the peace and security of the state.
I want the entire Makurdi neighborhood to support the police wholeheartedly in the areas of fighting crimes and criminality in the state.
Of recent was the killing at Mbamundu community on Saturday behind the Makurdi Modern Market area.
Your presence here, my prayer is that must be a success in Jesus' name.
Amen. We only support, and we are honorable to the community because if you see the market as well, we discovered that the market is a vulnerable place of which there is no crisis at all. We try to curtail anything that will bring us problems.
They called on other security outfits to assist the police in combing the criminal elements out of Benue State. In Makurdi, Regina Ngodo Ayungo, NTA News.
And to other matters now, the Chairman Senate Committee on Power, Gabriel Suswan, is assuring Nigerians that problems associated with the quality of electricity supply in the country will soon be addressed through legal framework. This was his promise during an interactive session with members of the Nigerian Gas Association. Over now to Mobolaji Moribirin.
The interactive discussion between members of the committee and the Nigerian Gas Association is to attain optimal gas production, distribution, which would lead to economic stability.
The capacity we have across our members to see what can we change in the upstream sector, what can we do in midstream, What can we do in the distribution sector? What can we do to help the end customers? We have ideas, we have proposals, we are very keen to share with the committee.
So we need to start understanding these things are doable. There's not, some of them are even plug and play. We just need to change the game a little bit and attract investors.
Members of the committee agreed to work in synergy with the association, especially on the electricity bill, capable of reforming the sector.
So all that the electricity bill that we're putting on the table on the floor of the Senate is doing is to create a legal backing. Any person who is investing in Nigeria will look at the extant laws that protect their investment.
The ultimate aim of the interactive session is to provide a lasting solution to issues related to power in Nigeria. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
For more reports, let's head to Lagos, where Kende is on standby. Kenny, you're on.
And welcome to Lagos. The world is plagued with a series of environmental issues, all of which are threatening the planet. Nigeria has its fair share. An International Mother Earth Day marked every 22nd of April is used to amplify sustainable solution by the government, people and the communities. Environment correspondent Jennifer Igwe is on standby to tell us how some Lagosians are marking the day at a shoreline in Lagos. Over to you now, Jennifer.
Thank you, studio. Now, the theme for International Mother Earth Day 2021, Restore the Earth, is apt because all around the world we have environmental challenges affecting communities and lives. And in Lagos, for instance, we have the impact of sea level rise occasioned by climate change caused by man-made activities like emission of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. In this community, they already have the impact of erosion. Many of the trees that ought to be holding the soil are already down because of the impact of sea level rise that washes the shoreline. Another challenge this community has is plastic waste. Now, there's many of them littered on the shoreline. And to mark International Mother Earth Day, some environmentalists in Lagos decided it is a good opportunity to clean up the beach. So I'll be talking to Temitokwe Okunu and her friends, all environmentalists, who have decided to take out time today to clean up the beach.
Well, this particular community beach, or rather this particular beach, is a community beach. You find out that this is not unlike the private beaches we have all around. This beach has been neglected for a long time. And when we talked to the community members, they actually affirmed the fact that the beach encroaching into the shore wasn't this way. When we talked about 20 years ago, they needed some climate education for them to understand that when their waste actually ends up into the ocean, they're not just endangering the ocean itself, but then there are millions of sea animals, millions of living animals in the ocean that is being endangered as a result of their plastic waste pollution.
Now, the interesting thing about what is happening here is the fact that they are not just keeping the beach clean, but they're also thinking of recycling. So what's going to happen to all the materials you've collected here today?
Now, firstly, we are going to find a way to evacuate them from here. That's the first step. Then they go to the factory. Then we do the sorting, we do the label removing, then we can compress.
Activities like this are happening all around the world. Over 1 billion people in 192 countries mark Earth Day. Now, that is why it is one of the biggest civic celebrations the world over. Thank you, studio. Back to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. The earth belongs to every one of us. We need to do all we can to protect it. Moving on now, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says additional resources of fund are required to enhance development in critical sectors with a view to addressing unemployment and youth restiveness in the state. Musa Taliat reports that the governor stated this when he received members of the Revenue Efficiency and Budgets Committee at the State House in Lagos.
The visit by the Revenue Efficiency and Fiscal Committee under the purview of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is born out of the need to ascertain the intended disbursement of fund requested by the Lagos State government on 5th March this year.
You can be rest assured that the supports that you will give to us, we will be very mindful of it, and will ensure that we utilize them judiciously, responsibly, that you will be truly proud of. And I want to assure you that we will continue to lend our support in whatever form way to the Commission.
Chairman of the committee, Adamu Dibal, however, said, having gone round to see projects in sectors that require funding, the Lagos State government is likely to get approval for the 9.639 billion naira requested from the Natural Resources Development Fund.
The committee would like to appreciate the foresight of your administration in taking the bold steps to access funds from the Development of Natural Resources account to develop selected key areas of the well-being of Lagos citizens. Consequent to this presentation, the Commission, through its fiscal and fiscal efficiency budget, is here to undertake a fiscal visit to verify and certify the reliability of the issues contained in the letter of request, as well as those raised during the presentation.
Governor Sanwo-Olu is seeking the funds to enhance development in tourism, agriculture, solid minerals, and energy. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We'll take a short break now. The news continues shortly.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن.
The Muslim Ummah are cordially invited to the 15th NTA, FRCN and Voice of Nigeria Ramadan lecture, scheduled for date 24th April 2021, time 9 a.m. inshallah. Topic: Causes and Solutions to Nigerian Security Challenges, the Islamic Perspective. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Dr. Jabir Sani Mehula, Head of Department, Arabic and Islamic Studies, Sokoto State University, Sokoto. The venue for the event is Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Kaduna. Chairman of the occasion, His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Emir of Zazzau. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Malan Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Host, Yaqub Ibn Muhammad, Director General NTA. Dr. Manzur Liman, Director General FRCN. Dr. Sita Okechuku, Director General Voice of Nigeria. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, The Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. running for 1 whole hour discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
Liverpool are still in the hunt for a top 4 finish as they welcome Newcastle United to Anfield. Will their ambitions be foiled by the visitors? This Saturday, it's Liverpool versus Newcastle United on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 12 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for rejoining us, and Agatha in Benin is set for us with the next set of reports.
A warm welcome to Benin. The Nigerian Air Force is partnering with the Institute of Construction Technology and Management, Uromi, Edo State, for the training of its personnel on various skills to enhance their proficiency and improve their living. The Chief of Air Staff said this in a message to the closing of skills acquisition training of over 100 airmen at the Institute. Rosemary Ibrahim now reports.
Nigeria Air Force trainees on skills acquisition courses have completed their 5 months intensive practical training at the National Institute of Construction Technology and Management, Edo State. The 5 courses include advanced electrical installation works and maintenance, plumbing and pipe fitting, welding and fabrication, building technology, computer-aided design and drafting. The personal ceremony here symbolizes the commencement of another phase of their career in the Nigerian Air Force. The Chief of Air Staff, represented by Air Vice Marshal Abiola Amondu, urged the graduate students to impart the knowledge obtained from the Institute in the development of the Air Force and the country at large.
Chief of Air Staff deemed it necessary to ensure that we develop these people's capacity, and that is why 100 trainees were sent to this National Institute of Construction Technology.
I'm sure by the grace of God, when they go back, a positive feedback will come because they were very determined in their studies.
Some of the trainees were awarded certificates of excellence.
Since I'm here now like this, I know I can boast, I can see anywhere and say yes, I'm a welder.
I still encourage Nigerian Air Force to still send them more.
They are now set to face the task ahead in handling numerous projects in the Air Force. In Uromi, Rosemary Ibrahim, NTA News.
Now, efforts of the federal government in making roads more tolerable to guarantee safety of lives on highways are yielding positive results with the reconstruction and rehabilitation of federal roads across the country. In Ekiti State, the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing is monitoring the various projects to achieve the target of good road network by the present administration. Ayodeji Ogunshakin gives us details.
Realizing the importance of good road network to socio-economic development and effective transportation system, the federal government has continued to intensify efforts in putting the nation's roads in proper shape through reconstruction and rehabilitation initiatives across the country. The special intervention on the distressed bridges along Ado-Ijan-Ilumoba-Imesi Ondo State border, emergency palliative repair of Ijan-Ise-Ekiti Road in the state could attest to the government's efforts as making the road more tolerable. While assessing the level of work done on the projects, the Coordinating Director of Federal Highways Construction and Rehabilitation, Folusho Adebiyi, noted that the federal government is poised at making Nigeria's road more tolerable and guarantees safety on highways.
We are here because the roads are bad to fix it. But we are appealing that while we fix the road, people should also drive carefully. Because bad road contributes in a way to some banditry activities.
The rehabilitation of Ikere-Ise-Ekiti Road project and the proposed dualization of Ikere-Akure Road project were also inspected, while the coordinating director assured of federal government's determination to complete all abandoned roads in the state, including Ado-Ifaki-Ekiti Road dualization project. From Ado-Ekiti, Ayode Jogunshakin, NTA News.
That ends our package. Howard, it's back to you.
Very well, Agatha, and we sincerely apologize for the unsteady pictures in some parts of our contribution from Benin. We have more on the World Earth Day as months to the conference of the parties COP26 in Nigeria. The international community is commemorating the Earth Day with a call to action in reducing pollution, global warming, and other human activities that pose threats to life on the planet. Over now to Onengie Fineface for more.
Restore Our Earth. The focus for World Earth Day 2021 is a global push for climate literacy and action to restore the world's ecosystems through natural processes, green technology, and innovative thinking.
We must end our war on nature and nurse it back to health. That means bold climate action to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and adapt to the changes to come. It means stronger steps to protect biodiversity. And it means reducing pollution by building circular economies that drive down waste.
In Nigeria, deforestation, pollution, and poor waste management pose severe threats to conservation and preservation of the Earth's ecosystems.
Join the race towards zero carbon emission. Let us ensure that we live our life in a sustainable manner. The Earth is the only planet that we have. God planted a beautiful garden and put man in it. It's up to us to sustain it.
The day also raises awareness on tree planting to restore the Earth and mitigate climate change.
For this year, we are to plant 100,000 trees.
We would enlighten the students about the importance of trees, because trees, they serve as shield, they serve as windbreaker, and they serve as a means of livelihood of human, because they are the reservoir of carbon dioxide and the releaser of oxygen, which is the survivor for man and for man.
There should be like a task force in place to make sure that if you cut down a tree, it should be replaced back as soon as possible.
Onengie Fineface, NTA News.
And still on the environment, an initiative of the UNDP and partners is inculcating the idea of tree planting in the minds of students as part of the federal government's 20 million tree planting initiative. Abdullahi Mohammed completes the report.
Cover it again. This simple act of planting and nurturing trees is said to be a necessity to preserving the earth and sustaining life.
Trees for schools, trees for all.
That explains why the drivers of the school tree planting initiative are taking their message to schools.
As they are making policies, as they are ruling the nations and ruling parastatals, they will be able to take this mindset of planting trees.
The floods happening, the desertification happening are not things that we usually just watch on TV and think is happening in other parts of the world alone. They are already here with us. So we need, as individuals, to take action.
77 schools across the Federal Capital Territory are targeted, with each school taking scores of trees to plant. With these, Emerald and Michael will not only watch their colleagues play basketball, but nurture the trees they planted with a better understanding of its importance.
I feel very happy that we can have more trees planted to reduce the effect of global warming on our earth.
Representatives of the diplomatic communities and other stakeholders also planted trees.
And so I planted a tree on behalf of Africa's largest television network. And I'm expecting that this tree will walk in the shoes of an acorn that breeds a mighty oak. In Abuja, Abdullahi Mohammed, NTA News.
Very well, Abdullahi. No doubt protecting the environment is a campaign we pursue here at the NTA. And the setting of the rainy season usually comes with some challenges, one of which is flooding. This is largely attributed to blockage of drainages, mostly resulting from human activities. Faith Iguilo, in this report, takes a look at the attitude of some residents of Owerri towards desilting of gutters within their environments.
Flooding is one challenge faced by most states, including Imo. Some areas in Owerri, the state capital, for instance, are usually overtaken by flood during the rainy season. A drive round some major streets in Owerri shows blocked drainages, especially in residential areas.
The government must not do everything. When government have provided a drainage, it's left for the human beings, the inhabitants, to make sure they are clean.
Government has a role to play, which is by providing refuse bins, whereby on daily basis people can sweep their environments and gather them and pour it inside the refuse deposits.
For Dr. Philip Njemanze, the health hazards associated with flooding are enormous, hence the need for people to take responsibility of clearing drainages around them.
The entire refuse bin has become the gutters instead of for draining water, so people go and throw in pure water sachets into and this is very unfortunate, and it's telling on the health of the people.
Yeah, this is the early rainy season, and I know that very soon we'll start desilting.
As a clean environment forms part of the non-pharmaceutical measures against COVID-19, it is expected that the desilting of gutters will be taken seriously to avoid attendant consequences. In Owerri, Faith Igwilo, NTA News.
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia provides humanitarian support to IDPs in Borno. Abubakar in our Maiduguri studio has details of this and more. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, and it's really good to see you this Thursday evening. 3,972,000 households in internally displaced persons camps across Borno State are expected to benefit from humanitarian food assistance of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia through the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. Representative of the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, stated this while receiving the food items for to the targeted IDPs. Here are more details of the story.
Okay. Okay. Cikin lokacin da mun zo gari na yau shekara mu takwas ba tallafin da mun samu sai yau.
Da yawa a yanayin yau da ake cikin babu mun gode sosai Allah ya saka da alheri.
Beneficiaries of the food assistance of King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center expressing overwhelming joy to the foundation for reaching out to them in a critical period, as well as to the National Emergency Management Agency and State Emergency Management Agency for facilitating arrival of the commodities. Receiving the items on behalf of the state and federal governments, representative of the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development said the assistance will further consolidate on the interventions being extended to victims of crisis in Borno.
The effort of Saudi government combined with other partners is timely. While we are pushing to provide humanitarian support, we should never be tired of hoping to make peace.
The donations are never enough. We can see what the insurgency has done to a lot of them. They cannot go out to fend for themselves.
We'll really distribute it to the needy ones. We'll ensure all and apply all the principle of accountability.
More than 600,000 persons had, since 2018, benefited from such aid within the Northeast region. Beneficiaries of the benevolence have affirmed the need to use this month of Ramadan to pray for King Salman Foundation of Saudi Arabia for putting smile on their faces. The United Nations Fund for Population Activities has donated personal protective equipment to 30 health facilities in 3 metropolitan local government areas of Maiduguri, Jere, and Konduga. This is part of efforts by the United Nations Agency to support cushion challenges of population explosion due to effects of the insurgency and the COVID-19 pandemic. Pauline Kujevana has more details.
The donation of the personal protective equipment PPE by United Nations Fund for Population Activities UNFPA was done under the Civil Society Organization Engagement CSOE COVID-19 Response Project on UN Basket Fund Response and coordinated by Planned Parenthood Federation of Nigeria PPFN. Representative of UNFPA in the state, Dr. Usman Balami, said the donation is meant for 32 health facilities across the 3 local government areas of Jere, Konduga, and Maiduguri to cushion the combined effect of the insurgency and COVID-19 pandemic. Executive Director, State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Aliyu Shatima, represented by Deputy Director in the agency, Chairperson PPFN, Volunteer Yagana Modu, commended UNPA for being supportive and concerned to the health needs of the people and pledged judicial distribution of the items. Items donated are 650 each of wrappers, blankets, sleepers, and mats. and 1,000 each of sanitizer, liquid hand wash, and disinfectants, as well as 2,000 sanitary pads, 15,000 face masks, and 25,000 hand gloves in Maiduguri. Pauline Kujavana, NTA News.
It's now time to take our second commercial break on Nationwide. We have more reports for you from our Enugu Network Center. Thereafter, join us again.
As Oni of Ife, as someone who cares about the well-being and safety of our people, it's time for each and every one of us to realize that COVID-19 is real and it has killed millions of people around the world. Scientists have developed this vaccine. The vaccine is safe for everyone and it contains no microchip, nor can it alter our DNA. However, we must continue to stay safe and stay clean, wear face masks, clean our hands on a regular basis, and try as much as possible to avoid a very large crowd and gathering. For those who choose to be vaccinated, it will go a long way in protecting yourself and your loved ones from COVID-19.
Nigeria, our great nation with vast and rich land. Our people are strong and united. Our founding fathers, Sir Ahmadu Bello, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, and a host of others bequeathed us a united, peaceful and prosperous Nigeria. Let us honor them by living in peace with one another. Let us eschew violence, ethnic profiling, and religious bigotry. We must avoid hate speech and other forms of derogatory words against our fellow Nigerians. Let our differences in tribes, cultures, religions, or politics be the ingredients that make our unity palatable. Let us all join hands to fight our common enemies of insecurity, poverty, and unemployment. Nigeria is big enough for us all. Let's unite to make our country a great place for us all. This message is from Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation in collaboration with Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
On behalf of our family, I have the honor to announce the final funeral rites of our beloved father and family patriarch, Omekuru Eyanweze, who recently joined his ancestors at the sagely age of 92 years. The event details are as follows. Date, April 24, 2021. Time, 12 noon. Venue, Eyanweze's family compound, Ejainere Umeda, Enugu Ezike, Igweze North local government area of Enugu State. Our family will be pleased to have our friends and well-wishers join us as we bid our father farewell in a carnival blaze featuring dances, social and cultural displays, as well as merry-making to mark his eventful and epical life here on earth. Senator Ayogweze for the Eyanweze family.
Across the river, and you'll never be unhappy again.
Liverpool are still in the hunt for a top four finish as they welcome Newcastle United to Anfield. Will their ambitions be foiled by the visitors? This Saturday, it's Liverpool versus Newcastle United on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 12 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu in association with Gold.com.
Many thanks for staying on. Good evening and welcome to Enugu. To reduce road crashes and damages to cargo caused by fatigue, experts on road safety matters are advocating that a driver is expected to park and rest for at least 15 minutes after every 4 hours. This came to the fore during a Vehicle Transit Area Southeast Sensitization Rally with a theme, Vehicle Transit Area, a panacea for crash-free haulage operations in Nigeria. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
Worried over the increasing rate of road traffic crashes involving haulage vehicles caused by fatigue on the side of drivers, the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, in collaboration with Nigeria Shippers Council, NSC, swung into action by bringing together stakeholders in the transport sector to brainstorm on the establishment of truck transit area or park in Anambra State.
It's a win-win thing for everyone, the drivers, the other road users, the community in which is located.
FRSC Commercial Boboye Oyemi, represented by ACM Hygienist Omeje, among other speakers, dwelt on improving road safety in haulage operations through truck transit scheme.
The issue of truck transit pass is an integral part of highway designs, such that truckers can always move in at these parks and have a rest.
Why they are emphasizing safety of life and safety of vehicle, we are emphasizing safety of the cargo that is being conveyed, by the vehicles.
Some participants speak.
It's a welcome development. In fact, we needed it more than even the government and the road safety.
But there's one advice I would like to give, that what helps in anything to succeed is dissemination of information to the grassroots.
Truck Transit Park is a public rest area located off the road designed to provide temporary rest location for drivers. In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
Heavy rainfall, which results to flooding, is one of the natural disasters that could cause possible food scarcity in a country if not properly managed. In this report, Eva Aneke takes a critical look at stakeholder strategy on averting negative impacts of heavy rains on farming activities as predicted by NIMET.
Meteorological agency NIMET says normal to above normal annual rainfall is expected throughout the country. This prediction is to get farmers abreast with the future occurrence that could affect farming. Over the years, some farmers, especially those at flood-prone sites, have experienced losses resulting to poor harvest and food scarcity. In some localities in Enugu State, such as Adani, a rice-producing community, have witnessed challenges of heavy rainfall, wind, flooding, which resulted to farm degradation and damage of crops. To this end, some stakeholders say government is embarking on sensitization of farmers to be wary of farming in erosion-prone areas. They also say that provision of upland variety of crops to farmers would salvage the likely negative impact of this year's NIMET's prediction.
If you are planting around the riverbank and you've had that there will be heavy rain that could lead to flooding, all you need to do is either you go early, plant early, and harvest early.
By this kind of prediction, and if it plays out, given that you will have less people now informed, because people are scared to venture their normal farms when people have to travel, farm and come back. Nobody wants to go and work for nothing.
They also appealed for farmers and government proactiveness in responding to flood cases in the state. In Enugu, Eva Neke, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. We'll now rejoin Hawa in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Very well, Chineye. And from Enugu, we take you to the National Assembly, where the House of Representatives is working on a legislation that seeks to amend the National Broadcasting Commission Act to make more effective the regulation of broadcast services in Nigeria. The bill, sponsored by the Chairman, House Committee on Information, Segun Odebumi, and two other members also made provisions that will ensure that all monies received by the Commission are paid into the Federation account in accordance with Section 162 of the Constitution. The amendment will reposition the NBSA by expanding its regulatory capacity for best practices in the ever-growing broadcast industry, considering current realities. Other provisions of the bill include the establishment of the Digital Access Fund, appointment of secretary and legal advisor for the Commission, and new procedure for the renewal of license. Settling disputes amicably for peace to prevail in society will allow government to provide meaningful development for the people. Charity James reports that this was the message of the Akwa Ibom State Deputy Governor, Moses Ekpo, at a meeting with traditional rulers of Ibisikpo Asutang and Nset Ibom local government areas of the state.
The boundary dispute between Ikorosom in Ibesikpo Sutan and Oboyikorita in Sribom local government area is one dispute that has continued to linger since year 2016. In an effort to resolve the dispute, the state government, through the State Boundary Committee, held a reconciliation meeting with the traditional rulers and chairmen of the two local government areas. The state deputy governor and chairman State Boundary Committee, Mr. Moses Ekpo, while commending the state surveyor general for proper tracing of the ancient boundary of the areas, explained that the land in question will be taken over by the state government if the two parties refuse to come into agreement for lasting peace.
When you get this information that you're getting now with the survey plan, it should be possible for you to agree.
Adequate emergency preparedness as one of the potent ways of conflict and disaster management has been identified in a book titled Planner's Perspective on Disaster and Conflict, Issues of Forced Displacement of Persons Management. The book, which was unveiled to the public in Abuja, attracted stakeholders in conflict resolution and peace building.
The book, A Planner's Perspective on Disaster and Conflict, Issues of Forced Displacement of Persons Management in Nigeria, examines the relationship between planning philosophy and man's continuous interaction with his environment while proposing a paradigm shift towards proactive risk reduction.
The book will impact heavily on humanitarian actors and non-state actors, policymakers, and actually also the security system.
The Minister, Federal Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, George Akume, the Governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, among other stakeholders, believe the book launch presents an opportunity for authorities to reset their priorities in building national unity and a robust conflict management mechanism.
And the book seeks to advance solutions to the myriad of problems that we have.
We not only passed the law on peace building and we set up the peace building agency by law, recognized now all over, but we also embark on trying to settle the IDPs.
The recommendations in the book, stakeholders say, can only enhance peace and build confidence among the internally displaced population in Nigeria. In Abuja, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
The federal government is to use teacher and technical education as components that will facilitate acquiring the right skills and competences by students to drive the diverse sectors of the nation's economy. This was at the inauguration of 25 governing councils of federal polytechnics and 21 federal colleges of education. Abdullahi Musa Suleja reports.
For some time now, Nigeria has been pursuing quality teacher education to uplift the standard of education and also use technical and vocational education to redress the huge gap in skills in different sectors of the Nigerian economy. This, the Minister of Education believes, can be achieved through competent men and women in the society that can lead the institutions to deliver on the desired goals. Thus, the appointment of governing councils for the institutions.
It is also a time to adopt new techniques for transforming our teeming youthful population into a highly skilled and competent workforce using contemporary tools of applied science and modern technology.
And I hope that with the team that I have as other members of the council, will strive education is repositioned for the benefit and betterment of Nigeria as a whole.
Meanwhile, the leadership of Colleges of Education Staff Union Kuwesu commended the government for the appointment of the governing councils. It was also one of the reasons advanced by the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, for the ongoing strike. Abdullahi Musa Suleja, NTA News.
The coalition of civil society groups has condemned the allegation against the Central Bank of Nigeria by the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki. The group said this position at a media briefing in Abuja. Saliu Abdullahi Guanara reports.
The coalition said Nigeria is blessed with the current set of leaders
who are strategizing to cushion the effects of the global economic crisis and keeping the country's economy active. Being the most populous nation in Africa, the group said ongoing economic stimulus packages, which include Creative Industry Financing Initiative, Anchor Borrowers Program, Youth Entrepreneurship Development Program, are among other notable initiatives contributing to the development and growth of the Nigerian economy.
We need patriotic interventions, and we equally expect progressive contributions towards developing and governing the Nigerian polity. We condemn in its entirety the falsehood and controversy being generated. This is not what we need at this time like now.
Meanwhile, Civil Society Group for Good Governance has cautioned the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria and the Transparency International to be transparent and objective in reporting the activities of the Nigerian government and its organs.
CSDG unanimously condemned the action taken by URI and Transparency International. It is our considered opinion that the state groups were misinformed and misguided, if not misled, by some shameless and faceless shenanigans who enjoy playing politics with anything and everything for their own selfish reasons.
The group is concerned about the recent allegations of financial misappropriation against a financial regulating agency in its proposed 2021 budget. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
The Obudu Cargo International Airport, still under construction, is expected to drive the industrialization agenda of the Cross River State government, and as well as serve as hub for export when completed. Paul Abel reports that earthwork at the airport has reached an appreciable level.
Airports generally drive traffic to a particular state or country and serves as an economic boost in a given area while wooing investors. For the Obudu Cargo International Airport, despite the topography, work on site is commendable, while the airport is expected to provide access to the Obudu Ranch Resort, as well as serve as a route to export groundnut oil, the rose flower, among others.
Obudu Cattle Ranch creates a great opportunity, and that's why as a government we're setting up an abattoir for us to be able to export beef out of Obudu Cattle Ranch. We have two major factories. They're all at completion phase to be able to export refined groundnut oil to the Middle East. So we are setting up a French fries here in Obudu to export from here out of. So for those who don't know, they think the imagination of this airport is intended to drive traffic just for the ranch or to look at transportation of passengers between Calabar and Obudu. No, that's not even in consideration. The major thing is to create an industrialization process that will allow every single industry have an export potential.
Some investors were also at the airport to inspect the level of work done and observe the special features that makes the airport unique. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
From Calabar, we go to Rivers State, where the House of Representatives Committee on FEMA has called for increased budgetary funding for maintenance of failed portions of federal roads across the state. The Chairman House of Representatives Committee on FEMA said this after an inspection of some federal roads in Rivers State as part of the committee's oversight function. Kingsley Amajiri has that.
The Eleme Junction-One axis of the east-west road is very critical to the nation's economy, given the presence of the nation's two refineries, a petrochemical plant, One Seaport, alongside other multinationals. The House of Representatives Committee inspection of the road is to appraise FEMA's intervention on the failed portion of this road. The committee is worried about the poor state of the Abuja Bridge, which poses a trap for the road users.
Well, I think we must encourage FEMA to continue to intervene on federal roads in this country, because you will agree with me, some of these roads have been built for well over 30 years ago, and there's little or no attention paid to them. And that's why we believe that if FEMA is properly funded they will be able to have a wider spread.
Yeah, those frustrations will be taken care of by the retention. The retention period is 6 months. At the end of the 6 months, we'll now come back. Before that time, if there's any failure, the contractor is bound to come and do some restoration.
The committee equally visited the Chokocho-Okehin axis of the Kuruta-Ngokbala road to appraise the remedial works on the road by FEMA. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And a report just coming in says President Muhammadu Buhari warmly felicitates with the Emir of Ilorin and Chairman of the Kwara State Traditional Council Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari on his 81st birthday, joining friends and family to celebrate with the retired eminent justice, whose leadership antecedents continue to inspire. President Buhari congratulates the royal father on the occasion of another anniversary, appreciating the noble and highly commendable roles he plays as a former justice of the appeal court, judge of the high court, administrator, community developer, and foremost nationalist. The president extols the humility and modernizing vision of Emir of Ilorin for his domain and the country at large, consistently urging both the young and old to pursue dreams of acquiring good education and working for the betterment of society. President Buhari prays for longer life and good health for the royal father, who has contributed greatly to the development of sports in Nigeria. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has condoled with the Federation of Tourism Associations of Nigeria over the death of its president, Alhaji Salih Rabo. In a condolence message, the minister described Rabo's death as a big blow to the tourism sector in Nigeria, considering the great ideas he espoused towards the development of the sector. The minister recalled late Rabo's invaluable contributions to the work of the Post-COVID-19 Initiatives Committee for the Creative Industry, saying as a member of the committee, he acquainted himself well. The minister said the deluge of tributes paid to the late FTAN president in the wake of his death was enough testimony to the fact that he lived an impactful life. He prayed for the repose of the soul of the deceased and praised the Almighty grants his family and friends the fortitude to bear the loss. And that's Nationwide today. We thank you very much for being part of it. But remember to stand with the NTA as we fight against rape and rapists. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. Good evening.